Saha, the author of The Digital Choices, and you're listening to the Insurtech Story podcast, the platform to spread knowledge on insurance innovation, digital disruptions, and entrepreneurship. Our website, theinsurtechstory.com, and we are available on Spotify, Apple, and Google. Welcome to today's show, where we will discuss on the topic unlocking cyber insurance opportunity. And for now, I'm delighted to welcome our guest, Arunachalam Tharamangalam. Arunachalam has over 10 years of senior management experience in the insurance industry in both direct and reinsurance space with India's respected professional insurance firms. From the cyber insurance aspect, Arunachalam has been engaged with consulting for clients on cyber risk, including risk assessment, cyber insurance design, negotiation of terms, placement of risk with carriers, claims management, and so on and so forth. Sectors handled by him includes banking and financial institutions, technology firms, services sector, engineering goods manufacturing, new generation startups like the payment wallet for example, and so on and so forth. His latest expansion in cyber insurance is in the area of advisory on GDPR related coverage under cyber liability insurance, which is a new exposure to companies with European links. So, Arunachalam, welcome on board, and I'm truly excited to have you for this show.
Thank you so much, Surya. I'm very happy to be joining your podcast and to share the experience that I have gained. My total experience in the insurance domain is about 32 years across different firms. And as it comes to cyber, over the past 6 to 7 years, I've been busy acquiring knowledge on where cyber risk is moving and also assisting clients to buy insurance cover against any financial loss or damage they may face because of a cyber attack. So I'm happy to share that experience with you and your listeners today. Thank you, Surya.
Thank you, Arunachalam. It's always great to have industry veterans to share their experiences, because experiences is the main asset that one can have and share for others' benefit. So welcome on board once again. So Arunachalam, just to kick off our discussion for today. In today's digital world, the boundaries of insurance have extended beyond the enterprise as insurers increasingly cooperate in new ecosystems built around managing newly digitized assets. So these include, you know, connected cars, healthcare monitoring, and also connected homes. And with all these, we are witnessing an increasing cyber risk that is coming along. So, do you think traditional models in insurance can help the industry cope with such challenging demands that is now placed upon the insurers in particular?
Thank you, Surya, for asking a very interesting question and very relevant for today's connected world. In my viewpoint, I want to place before you and the listeners a few perspectives. Number one perspective, insurance is a very important tool for both risk management and indemnity in case of a loss. Insurance is the last resort. When everything fails, there is insurance. So, but the way insurance has grown over many decades, possibly even over a century, is first there will be a development of the technology and insurance would follow. You can take it even computerization, and computerization has applied in different industries, and the way insurance could cover that new technology. Insurance just follows where the technology is moving. I can give examples for that. The old examples could be industrial automation or even computerization as applied to R&D and similar activities, even logistics, how insurance can support in case something happens to the systems and there is a loss or damage resulting in financial loss to the entrepreneur or the owner. But if you talk of the newer technologies, you spoke about cars and healthcare monitoring. You take drones. Drones are a recent innovation. They are being applied already. Drones is not new now. Everybody has heard about where drones are used for different business applications. The simplest is a courier company delivering a packet using a drone. But the other major applications could be risk survey, then agricultural seeding and crop management, then doing geographical survey. Drones are applied in different business environments. The question is insurance ready for drones today? Maybe not. The reason is insurance rides on available data, and not just any data, dependable data on what are we insuring, and what can go wrong with what we are insuring, and if that goes wrong, what can be the financial impact. That data is essential for insurers and their actuaries and insurance companies or other stakeholders to decide how to cover this situation. So what will be the insurance? There should be availability of credible data. So my response to you is yes, the legacy models or the older models of underwriting, the older models of how you apply the numbers to a problem in the insurance space will not be useful now. We need to catch up with where technology is moving, which is why Surya, there is availability of what they call parametric insurance. If you want to
Right.
cover, you said connected cars or healthcare monitoring, you can't do it with traditional models of underwriting. You have to have a 24/7 real-time monitoring of what you're insuring, which means insurers should have where this car is moving, where are they stopped, was it speeding? All this information could be, even they will find out where you, if you're going in one-way traffic on the opposite direction, or if it's healthcare, are you complying with the healthcare safeguards that are prescribed by an insurer? So parametric is the future. It's already being discussed. There are solutions available in parametric underwriting for some of the insurance problems. I think insurance is catching up, but let us remember that insurance is not going to go ahead of technology. Insurance would follow technology. Does it make sense, Surya?
No, absolutely. You mentioned data there, and I think one of the main, or rather, if I can put it this way, the crux of the matter is data. I mean, that's where the question of cyber threat occurs, and how
Yeah.
we preserve and protect that is the main challenge in today's industry 4.0, what we call it, right? So, and of course, we have heard about terms like data is the new oil, data is an asset, etc., and so on and so forth. But the real question lies: what are we doing to manage that data effectively? And that's where insurance would play a different and a more productive role there. And as you said, insurance is a concept that would follow technology and not the other way around. I think that is very apt for
Yeah.
today's growth and developments what we are witnessing globally. So, just to follow with this, insurance carriers are fully aware that their security posture must be responsive and agile to counter the growing cyber threat. And equally, they feel that the effectiveness of their defenses is constrained by a range of factors, such as IT legacy systems. Now, considering this, what would be your take on the legacy systems that may pose a greater security risk to the insurance industry? And this is most important because insurance as an industry is very conservative as we see it, right? So they particularly depend on a traditionally modeled information technology system, rather than upgrading or following it to develop as the market grows and recommends. But the industry is quite slow in with respect to observation and adoption, unless some other, or rather in the competitive landscape, someone does it and the others follow. So yeah, your takeaways or your observations, please.
Yeah, I'm sure this applies to every other business entity when it comes to what they have as IT environment, and what is going to be their philosophy and their outlook on where technology should take them as it applies to their business. Every organization have their own unique approach or thought processes. If there are, let's say, 5 different insurance companies, they may not take the same pace of how they update their technology. They may have their own viewpoints. It starts from what is the outlook of the leadership. Number two, what could be their budget available for that particular year to enhance the technology, to update their systems, or to build more apps which can make insurance easy and also very customer friendly. And they also, of course, every insurer would want to have a very strong CRM system which can take care of how do you retain customers, how do you make sure you provide more value, how do you make the relationship more effective to a set of customers. So each insurance company have their own philosophy, their own budget availability, and their own pace of doing it. We have seen currently in the last 5 years, every insurance company wants to prioritize investment into IT and technology. There's no doubt about it. And there are new age insurance companies who want to leverage on the digital possibilities of how they insure. For example, I can give an example. If somebody goes and buys an expensive article, let's say jewelry from a jewelry store, I know an insurer, the moment the jewelry is billed, along with the billing, there is an all risk insurance available. The moment, even if you just walk out to the store and you lose it, you're already insured. So technology can be so useful that it can kick in real time by the second. So there are the new age insurers who want to use technology for making sure that insurance as a tool, risk management tool, is available to each and every customer within the second. That's possible using technology. So we have reached, our Indian market has reached that kind of situation. Another dimension of this is you take claims management. Of course, the claims management will be digitized. You will have claims data available. You will have policies and claims linked to each other. You go to verify a policy. You'll also see what claims are reported under that policy. Or you go and look at a claim record on the system. You will be able to see the entire history of how many claims the insured would have made for the same vehicle or for the same property. I mean, that is old news. What I just explained to you is old news. What is new is making it easy for the claims environment to operate. For example, how much of empowerment you are given to an insurance surveyor in terms of this doing an assessment of the claim. I mean, already the systems are there with most insurers, where a surveyor will just take a photograph from his Android phone or an Apple phone or his tablet. He can upload immediately into the claim system of the insurer. He can take videos and upload. He can even prepare a report and upload into the system. All of this has become already enabled. So the insurance companies have done the right thing to enable and catch on the moment as to how they can leverage technology to their advantage, not only to their advantage, to make it easy for the environment to process the claim. The next step was empowering the customer. There are many insurers today who have given the empowerment on the customer's hands. Today, if it's a smaller claim, the customer can take photograph from his mobile and upload into the app. And if it's a small enough value claim, the claim is processed and directly the money is credited to the customer's account. So we have reached to this extent of revolutionary technology in the insurance space. All this is very good and very good to know and good to hear and good to recognize. But my concern, which is connected to your question, is about the cybersecurity, which insurers may have adapted to make sure that the critical information they have is secured. There again, there may be a variance in terms of the philosophy of the insurer, in terms of the technology they have used, and very importantly, in terms of the budget they have allocated for cybersecurity. I would like to think today that one insurer may not just copy another insurer. They may have their own way of assessing their risk, and as good as any other corporate would decide. They may have their own way of assessing their risk, and they would have invested in some kind of technology. May not be the best in the market, or may not be just adequate, but they have reached there. So every organization is evolving in stages. Insurance companies are also no different. They're also evolving in the way they have seen cyber security as a priority. But I'm sure they have designated officers within the system who have a watch on how their systems are empowered, what kind of firewalls have been there, what kind of monitoring and protocols are there. I'm sure there are systems in place, but they may not be the same. Each insurer may not be following the same. I would today think that the new generation insurers might have done well to recognize this and then made sure that the suitable cybersecurity apps or cybersecurity mitigations have been put in place. One very important thing here is, why should it be such a priority for insurance companies? Today, insurance companies are sitting on millions and millions of records of policyholders, including their financial information. If they have taken their KYC documents, including Aadhaar card or PAN card, they may be sitting on sensitive personal information belonging to policyholders. On the other side, insurers are also sitting on corporate information, the balance sheet and the financial information of their corporate customers, sometimes even R&D information. If a clinical trial organization submits an application or a proposal for clinical trial liability insurance, they have to submit their entire protocol and details of the trial subjects to an insurance company. So the other side of the concern is corporate information, sensitive corporate information is available in the servers of the insurance companies. They also insure projects. They may have project related information, design related information. So there is a heavy responsibility on the insurers to make sure that private information of private customers and corporate information of corporate customers are secured. Now, what happens if it is not secured? We don't have a very tough legislation. We have the IT Act that is empowered enough to get into action if there's a major data breach happens and policyholders' information is taken out and then made public. IT Act may react, but the personal data protection bill that is there in the Parliament, if it is passed, then it will become even more severe on insurance companies in case such an incident happens. So I'm sure insurance companies, as we know who they are, they might have already taken notice of this upcoming legislation. Of course, all of us know about GDPR. So the GDPR equivalent of India, which is the Personal Data Protection Act, if it comes into effect, then it is even more heavier for insurance companies, and they have to show more responsibility to make sure that the customer data, policyholders' data is properly saved, properly preserved and managed and used, and properly disposed of if it is to be disposed. And as the European law would require, the customer has a right to be forgotten. They have to make sure that the data cannot fall into the wrong hands. So I think the insurance companies would take notice of this. They may be in different ways trying to add and build and strengthen their cybersecurity systems. The only question mark is, what is the thought process? What will be the priority for them in terms of how much they want to spend as a budget? If it's an insurance company who already had a breach or they had a cybersecurity incident, I'm sure they would have gone ahead to strengthen their system without waiting for another attack. But there may be insurance companies who may not have faced the situation. They may take their own time to increase their spending on cybersecurity. I think that's my take on cybersecurity priorities for insurance companies. Surya.
This is very interesting, Arun. When I see cyber insurance as an umbrella product, business interruption is one of the main cost driver behind the cyber losses, which globally, if I'm not wrong, it accounts for around 60% of the value of all claims analyzed together, followed by cost involved with dealing with data breaches. So beside this, uh, what does cyber insurance cover? What are the other elements you have come across that cyber insurance covers, or you foresee that cyber policy would cover for businesses or even individuals?
Yeah, I'm glad naturally we progressed into this topic of cyber insurance, which is my pet favorite topic, because I'm like an evangelist talking to more and more corporates and then
Right.
briefing them about the possibility of a risk happening and the possible financial loss that they may face when such an incident would happen. So I'm glad we got into this topic, Surya.
So,
Now,
so besides an industry leader, you're also an educator in cyber insurance. So that's a
absolutely,
fantastic thing.
I try to,
Glad to
because
know.
yeah, normally an entrepreneur or an individual doesn't take recognition of his risk by default. Surya, when we talk about cyber insurance, the default understanding of cyber insurance is it's a cyber liability insurance. World over, if you take cyber insurance carriers, their product will be a predominantly cyber liability insurance, which will pay for any investigation cost or a forensic investigation cost or data restoration costs. the first party cost that the policyholder may incur, and the third party liability if the data belongs to somebody else and it is lost from the servers of the policyholder, the computer system of the policyholder, then the liability that may arise from that incident is payable. This is the default coverage of cyber insurance world over. Then what can be different? There are some policy wordings in addition to covering the first party cost and the investigation cost and the data restoration cost, including any business interruption caused by a cyber attack, along with the liability. They also cover financial loss in case there is a loss of money. A typical example is the threat actor is able to copy your login password to a bank account, and he is able to get into your bank operation, and he transfers out money to his own account without your knowledge. When you are asleep or you are not paying attention, money is lost. By default, cyber insurance may not cover this, but there are some insurers, including some in India, who would cover the financial loss arising out of a cyber attack, the way I explained. Even more frequent incidents in India, which every corporate of any size, SME, mid cap, and large cap have faced, is getting duped on a fraudulent email. They call it by different names. The Western world knows it as business email compromise. It is also called social engineering fraud. What happens is, if I am running a company, I have procured the services from another agency, maybe far away in another country, or I imported materials from another supplier in a faraway country. That supplier has to send his invoice so that you can make a payment. Today, what happens? The hackers are able to generate invoice identical to the actual supplier, genuine supplier. They're also able to hack the email systems and send an email to the policyholder as though it is being sent by a genuine supplier. So the language of the email will be so correct because the hackers always eavesdrop on your emails. The invoice containing the information will be very correct. What will not be correct is the bank account information and the name of the entity you're going to transfer the money. Sometimes they even use the same similar sounding names of the company to which you have to send the money. So it's an everyday event. Many Indian corporates have made this mistake of paying out to fraudulent threat actors, paying money into their account by getting duped because of an email. This is very common. So there are some cyber insurance policies which may cover this aspect also. And then you have every other different kind of criminal activities which may happen on a cyber environment, which cyber insurance can cover. So one model will be the policy which covers financial loss. Both are available to customers. If you want to know what will be the distribution of insurance, cyber insurance carriers, which policy form they will follow, I would say 8 out of 10 will have a cyber liability policy only with the related first party cost, and 2 out of 10 would be also insuring financial loss resulting from a cyber attack or a cyber security compromise. Surya?
Right. Yeah. No, that's pretty, a very comprehensive demonstration there, Arun. So we
If you permit me, Surya, I want to also explain one more aspect of it.
yes,
Today,
please,
cyber
Arun.
insurance
Yeah.
is available for even individuals. You and me, as an individual, we are also worried about our social media accounts, somebody hacking into our bank accounts, or somebody using our account and sending out obscene or inappropriate messages or images as though we are sending. So today, the good news is cyber insurance is available for individuals also. At least 2 or 3 insurers in India have launched their own cyber insurance products, which is designed to cover the risk exposure of individuals. So the policy you can buy from, let's say, 1 lakh to 1 crore or even more than 1 crore. And it has got sub limits for different type of incidents, including the cost of legal pursuit on the criminal. Suppose somebody has done this, you can file a criminal case and also engage an advocate to pursue that person so that he is brought to justice. The legal cost also is something that can be covered under cyber insurance. So I spoke in one part the cyber risk and cyber insurance for corporates, including SME, mid cap, and large corporates. The other side, I've shared with you information that individuals can also take cyber insurance, and it is available even in India from at least 3 companies.
Right. No, absolutely. Arun, we normally talk about insurance aspects like the property insurance, life insurance, health, and others. But cyber is one of the critical aspect of the insurance industry and a defining element in every industry in today's world that we tend to somehow avoid with respect to the awareness and education is concerned. So I think this is one of the areas that all, be it an insurance professional or a non-insurance professional, must try to learn a bit more on what's being happening and what might happen, because this is something a very very and kind of an alert, a red alert for all of us. And of course,
Yeah,
how
absolutely.
insurance will actually protect us in any sort of a loss that may happen. So, Arun, having discussed on all these aspects, be it from the insurance side and the cybersecurity part, can you help our listeners understand on how cybersecurity technologies will evolve? And I believe it will evolve at speed in the coming days, especially when seen to address the intensifying threat on our digital consumers, and where insurance has a key role to play.
Yeah, as you know, every activity has an element of risk, right? If I talk about risk, even if you walk out of your home, there is a risk of getting hit by a vehicle. So every activity has a risk. If it comes to business, then there are multi-dimensional risks that business would face. And within that, if there is an information technology risk or a cyber risk, it takes a different proportion. Now, along with the operational risk, cybersecurity also would evolve. As I told you, I can bring a comparison between how risk will evolve and insurance will catch up. I told you when cyber risk evolves, then cyber insurance will catch up. Similarly, cybersecurity will evolve if risk is evolving. So, 10 years back or 15 years back, choosing a SOC service would not be known to anybody. Everybody will ask, what is SOC? Today, using a SOC service given by IT companies, Securities Operations Center services, which is being used by many organizations, has become the in thing. You're going to let a technology company, a cyber security company, monitor your systems 24 by 7 and provide you, make sure that the basic mitigations are there and alert you if there is a persistent threat that is evolving, so that you can put in mitigations, you can get your critical systems off the internet and take any remedial action. SOC is in thing today. 10 years back, it was not there, or maybe it was not heard so popularly. Similarly, let's say cloud. Maybe 10, 15, 20 years back, cloud, you would have only looked up into the sky when you spoke about cloud. Today, everybody knows what is cloud. I
Absolutely.
mean it. Yeah. I mean it. It would have been a totally strange language if you say you can keep your data away from your own device somewhere, it's in the air. Nobody would have believed you. But today, everybody, my Gmail is on cloud, my photos are on cloud as an individual. But if you take corporates, there is a good level of adaptation to cloud technology. In fact, I can tell an interesting story. It's not a story, it's an actual incident. I was talking to one of my customers who is into a particular specialized type of business. And I told him, sir, you must look at, apart from your fire insurance risk or your marine transit risk, which Surya you were mentioning, I was telling the customer that you should also look at cyber insurance. Then he said, Mr. Arunachalam, my ERP systems are on cloud. My ERP systems are entirely on cloud. So if I want to access ERP report or manage my ERP system, I'm already using the cloud. Then I have 500 stores, retail stores. All the billing software is on the cloud. Then he said, even our user documents in my office, I have 200, 300 people working in my office. All of them are storing their records on Google Drive, which is again on a cloud. He says, I don't have anything on my servers. I don't have a server at all. I have only user machines. I may have one or two servers for my email and all that, but for my critical business use, I'm entirely on cloud. So what would a hacker get from me? Because I don't have anything, was the argument given by the customer. Then I had to tell him, sir, you think you are at a 0% risk when it comes to cyber risk. I'm thinking you are at a 100% risk. The moment a hacker gets access to your login into your cloud account, into your ERP account is on cloud, or into your admin account for the billing software, the hacker does whatever he wants. He can prevent you access. He will have full access. So I think you are at 100% risk, is the way I explained. So I'm coming to this point that cloud is a technology that evolved over time. It is still evolving. There are newer and newer and newer applications and empowerments and enablements given to the users on cloud. More and more adaptability, more and more usage is there on cloud. The risk is going to get higher. One aspect I want to share with the listeners, Surya, is if a compromise happens on a cloud, if data is breached, if my entire customer data is taken away from my servers, I had a cloud account with a particular provider, then who is to blame? Will there be pointing fingers? I think there won't be any pointing fingers because the agreement or a contract that you have signed while procuring the cloud service will speak about it. There will be, to an extent, certain level of security responsibility taken by the cloud provider, which will be limited to a great extent because the cloud provider is giving you control. You have the dashboard, you have what you want to control in front of you. You've been allowed to do it, and you have been given a security access by providing a login and password. Predominant control is in the hands of the user. So if a customer or a business organization thinks I'm on cloud, 100% security is provided by my cloud provider, I have no risk at all. Possibly that's a wrong understanding. So wherever I go to meet a client, I talk about cyber risk, I talk about cyber insurance. Definitely a part of the conversation is I will ask, sir, madam, are you on cloud? Do you use any cloud application? Is your data on cloud? Then if they say yes, then the discussion takes a different turn. Similar to third party risk that they may face, a vendor risk they may face on the IT side. Cloud is another evolving technology which has evolved in the past decade. It is evolving to be a much different monster. It will be a useful monster, of course, but when it comes to security, that monster has to be tamed and properly managed so that the organization's interest is protected. So I think as the cyber security risk is evolving, cybersecurity risk is evolving because of the adaptation and application of technology. Similarly, cybersecurity systems will evolve. More and more solutions will be invented by the providers, and along with that, insurance companies will keep tab. Possibly 10 years from now, Surya, an insurance underwriter, a cyber insurance underwriter. Today, I am a cyber insurance broker. I am a good bridge between the customer and the insurer. But tomorrow, a cyber insurance underwriter may be asking probing questions as to what is the application of your technology, for what you are using technology, and what will be the risk in the technology. Thirdly, what will be the cyber security arrangement that you have for the protecting your technology and your data and your money. Based on that, you are going to see a very good cyber insurance cover, very friendly pricing, a good deductible, as many add-on cover that you may want, which somebody like me can negotiate. Beyond that, you will present yourself to be a good risk in front of a cyber insurance underwriter. Surya.
Absolutely. It's quite astonishing to understand that you had to actually kind of push cyber insurance as a product, but rather it is more of a the other way around, where they should the companies or your clients must come forward for that. That itself testifies the lack of awareness and the lack of understanding on the sensitivity of the intensity of the attacks that can happen and cause both financial and reputational damage to enterprises. And just to quote something, a little bit of facts that globally already there's like high frequency in ransomware incidents, and which are becoming more damaging, increasingly targeting companies both big and small, with sophisticated attacks, as you rightly mentioned, on the billing part, and hefty extortion demands as well, which we have, I think, a couple of weeks back we have witnessed in one of the news channels here in India. So it's quite horrifying and kind of an alarm that businesses must at least wake up to understand where their IT system lies and how much prone it is towards cyber attacks. And of course, leaders like you are doing a great job, and I wish more and more people come forward, not just in building the concept and innovation behind cyber attacks, I mean cyber insurance coverage to protect cyber attack from cyber attacks, but however, also educating industry and people on the same. I think this was a fantastic thought shared, Arun. So, just to conclude our talk for today, and with the interest of time, I would like to say, Arun, thank you very much. It was a fantastic discussion, and thank you for
Thank you.
sharing your thoughts there. It was truly, truly a delight to have you as our guest. And
I also, yeah, go ahead.
lastly, to wrap this up, thank you for listening and see you at our next episode. Take care and stay safe. Goodbye for now.
Thank you so much. Bye bye. Goodbye.